One other aspect, we are going to be recording today's session. So please let us know if there is any issue with that. Just 2 minutes until everyone is joining. Thank you.
I'm not sure if you wanted to share the sound, but you didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, you cannot see my screen.
We can't hear the sound.
Yes, but we can hear the sound.
You can only hear the sound, but you cannot see the screen.
The other way around. We can see the screen, but no sound.
Okay, without the sound. Okay, let me just, when I share the screen, I need to share the sound as well.
Change2Twin, digital twin for every manufacturing SME. Change2Twin is an EU-funded project which helps manufacturing SMEs and midcaps to deploy digital twin solutions. We are a consortium of 18 partners, and we believe that the concept of digital twin is a game changer in manufacturing. Therefore, we teamed up to provide an easy scheme for companies to acquire the right digital twin solution quickly and easily. Our scheme is unique due to its strong focus on the individual needs of companies. It covers the analysis of their digitization potential, an individual mentoring plan, and even the design and final deployment of the digital twin. We provide companies with funding, which covers the assessment of their digital fitness, their preparedness for digital twinning, as well as the deployment of the digital twin itself. For this purpose, Change2Twin cooperates with local digital innovation hubs, technology providers, and related European projects. Additionally, Change2Twin has set up a digital twin marketplace, which is a one-stop shop for technologies and related services. If you are a technology provider, we invite you to publish your offer on the Change2Twin marketplace. If you are a manufacturer, you can choose your digital twin solution provider here. In order to test the concept, Change2Twin has executed 4 pilot experiments with companies from diverse manufacturing branches. These experiments illustrate the potential of selected digital twin technologies and provide background and inspiration for other manufacturing companies. If you want to follow the 4 pilot experiments and build your own digital twin, then apply for Change2Twin funding today. Contact us for further information. Send us an email. Visit our website. Follow us on LinkedIn or join our community. This project has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under Grant Agreement number 951956.
Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so we are almost all here right now. If anyone is going to join, we will be letting them in as we go. So first of all, thank you all for being with us today. As As an introduction, I am Anca Marina, I am with Funding Box. Today we are going to talk about the second assessment voucher open call, and we have here with us 3 of our partners to present some details and also to answer any questions you may have. We are going to proceed with our coordinator, Tor, who is going to briefly present you Change2Twin, and if you have any questions after his presentation, we'll take some questions. Otherwise, at the end of the session, we'll take more questions. And just for your information, this session is being recorded, so you will be able to find the information after the meeting today. Okay, Tor, so the floor is yours. You can share the screen and the presentation. Thank you.
Let's see. Why don't now I'm sharing the screen, I think. Then I'll just find my presentation and put that in presentation mode like that, and then I make that smaller. So I hope you now see my screen. So I will give a longer version of what the video showed you. So I'm the coordinator of Change2Twin, and we are now 25 months over 48 of the project, and we are somehow halfway through the open calls. So we now somehow start the second round of open calls. So as you saw in the video, we address to make it possible for every manufacturing SME to get access to technology for digital twins. And also that we believe that digital twins will be very, very important for manufacturing companies in the years coming. When we started to write the proposal for digital twins, we discussed what is a digital twin. And if you go on Wikipedia, you will see there's a lot of definitions that are very, very close to the application area. But somehow what is common, it's that it's a digital replica of an artifact that can be a product, a machine, or a lot of things, a process or service, which is so accurate that it can be used as a basis for taking decisions. And more, the digital replica and the physical world, they are connected by data streams. Sometimes it's more manual, sometimes it's a lot of sensor data coming. But this is a big puzzle. And when some of digitalization of manufacturing started, it was somehow CAD, and then you made some description of what was to be manufactured, and it was manufactured, but the digital representation didn't match what was actually produced. And it, as time went on, the some of digital representation and the actual object, they somehow got more and more different. So the digital twin is somehow to keep the digital twin synchronized with what is happening with the object or process or whatever we represent. So we have the funding scheme, and as you see here to the right, we have this digital maturity assessment vouchers, the 10K, and now we have the second call for that. We had the first call when we ended up with the funding 19, so then we can fund up to 30 now. Then we will later on have the second call for deployment vouchers, where you actually can try out your digital twins. So this is synchronized, so those that are now getting funding for the assessment voucher can go on to the deployment voucher. So in the first assessment voucher call, you see here which countries were lucky to get successful proposals. And you also see to the right for the deployment. So there's a lot of countries in Europe that we haven't actually managed to reach very well, including Norway, where I sit. So we have now the second assessment voucher call, and then we have the deployment later this year. So So we somehow in Change2Twin want to make it easy to get access to digital twins, funding, guidance, testing, deployment. We have the open calls. Then we have a marketplace where more and more technology is being posted. There's technology from the competence centers in Change2Twin, and also external offers from IT or vendors providing technology that is not currently part of Change2Twin. Then we had different pilot experiments that was mentioned in the video, and we built the Change2Twin community, a virtual space where you can register and get more information and get connected. For the manufacturing SMEs, we offer what you see, the assessment, a digital twinning receipt that you will get help to develop from a digital innovation hub. So the funding can be coming from us to you, and then you pay the digital innovation hub to help you. Then later on, you can get deployment of digital twin with a technology provider. And you can experiment and optimize the digital twin. And there is funding as part of this package. And no prior knowledge is required, but you need during the assessment to find out where you are on digital maturity and how you can proceed. For the technology providers, they can post their technology in the marketplace. And then the digital innovation hubs can get access to the marketplace and the offers there and help to make this receipt for how to use this technology. But it might also be used technology from outside the marketplace. And then work with SMEs to turn the twin receipt into reality, and then create and test the digital twin, and hopefully acquire new customers and discover new markets. For the digital innovation hubs, we have had this certification procedure, and we have certified 54 digital innovation hubs that are somehow those, you select one of those that can help you in the assessment. And also, I somehow repeat myself here. So I just jump on. The certification program for the digital innovation hubs had some of the ambition to give all the digital innovation hubs a common understanding of digital twins in manufacturing, and show these digital twin pilot case demonstrations, so get examples, and guide the digital innovation hubs on how to perform the assessment process, and also explain to the digital innovation hubs which barriers there are for adoption of digital twins. Then also have a look into possible enabling technologies, and also interoperability, how to connect things, and also the importance of standards in digital twinning, and information on the marketplace. So this is what the DIH should know now. And here you see to the right the countries where we have certified the digital innovation hubs. So there's a big potential to get a digital innovation hub close to you to help you. Then the pilot cases that were mentioned in the video was in packaging industry, process manufacturing, that was paint, additive manufacturing, or biomedical engine manufacturing. So you can get more info on this on our web pages. And here you see the consortium. The 10 first are the core partners, and number 11 to 18 were partners in the pilot experiments. So then I stop my talk here.
Okay, Tor, thank you for your presentation. So now that you may have had a better understanding of Change2Twin as a whole, we are going to move on to the presentation of the open call. Just 1 second, I need to share my screen now. We are going to take questions at the end. Thor will be here as well as Marcela from TT Tech. They are going to be here until the end of the session, so we can you can address questions to them at any time. Okay. Regarding the open call, which we call the assessment voucher second open call, as Thor has already told you, the goal of the project is to ensure that manufacturing SMEs have easy access to the technologies needed to deploy a digital twin. So our ambition with Change2Twin is to be able to provide assessment and training recipes by certified DIHs to beneficiaries of the assessment program, the deployment of digital twin with technology providers in the deployment program. And for both of them, we have, for both types of programs and beneficiaries, we have experiments and optimization of the digital twin, funding to make the digital twin accessible. And very important is that no prior knowledge is required to apply in any of the open calls of Change2Twin. So altogether, we have 4 calls in the project, and we've already had two calls closed with 19 beneficiaries in the first assessment voucher and 11 beneficiaries in the deployment voucher. We are now ongoing with the second open call for the assessment voucher. It has started a couple of weeks ago, and it will be ending on the 30th of September. Sorry about that. Just 1 second. Okay. Why we are launching this call and what we are intending here is to select up to 30 beneficiaries, 30 use cases, which will be receiving a thorough analysis of their digitization potential. So with involving the DIHs that Thor mentioned before as well, we are going to provide the beneficiaries, the 30 beneficiaries to be selected after this open call, with an analysis and a report detailing improvements achievable with digital twin technologies, together with a complete recipe for their deployment. So at this stage with the assessment voucher, we are not talking about deployment, we are not talking about implementation, we are talking about a mere assessment of the status of your business, and this can constitute the basis for an application to the deployment voucher. So with the assessment voucher, the beneficiaries get an external assessment by a specialized DIH and also recommendations regarding technologies in order to further deploy towards a digital twinning process within their manufacturing company. What we are offering with the assessment voucher, we are offering up to 10,000 euros as a lump sum, and this is just for the beneficiaries to find out how fit they are for a digital twin, which type of a digital twin would be most suitable in their current situation, and they also get these recipes for implementation, which should take them further to the deployment stage. The voucher, as mentioned, is offered as a lump sum. This means that the costs will be spent against an objective, a deliverable, and they do not need to be justified individually. And they should cover all costs of the project, including contracting a certified DIH of your choice to perform a thorough analysis of your digitalization potential. When it comes to the eligibility of the applicant, we are looking for individual manufacturing SMEs and midcaps, that is sole applicants, not in teams or consortia. They need to be located in the member states of the European Union and its overseas countries and territories, or in the associated countries to Horizon 2020, or in the United Kingdom. You can see all the member states and their associated countries in the guide for applicants, and also the application form doesn't really allow you to select any other country which is not eligible. So this is not something for you to worry too much about it, but either way, you can see the list completely in the guide. Another criteria here is the level of digitization. We are looking ideally for a level 3. However, the minimum level required is level 2. That is, the digital systems in the organization are largely connected to each other and exchange data to provide business applications and software with relevant information. As an example, you can think about here as the ERP system, for example, that would be a level 2 of digitization. When it comes to an ideal use case, as mentioned before, and I cannot stress this enough, there is no need to provide a concrete plan for implementation at this stage. Okay, so you just need at this application level, the goal. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try to mute Marta. Okay, no problem. We'll go back where we are. So what we are expecting from this application is for you to be able to clearly explain and describe the status of your business, of your manufacturing business, and the goal, the final goal, however, of the use case will be the development and the implementation of technology and system applicable to digital twins for manufacturing. So even if at this stage you are not supposed to implement or to deploy anything, or you do not to grow an idea, it is important that the long-term goal and the final objective for you is to implement and deploy a digital twin within your business. The digital twin should be used for one or more of these purposes. I'm just going briefly through them. You can find a more thorough description of them in the guide, like virtual design, commissioning, feedback to engineering, optimization and best quality, diagnosis, smart logistics, and smart systems. When it comes to the timeline, just for you to get an idea where we are and what to expect in the next few months, we have started the open call a couple of weeks ago. It is going to end on the 30th of September. We are going to take the whole month of October for the evaluation process, and we expect to communicate the results to the list of finalists by mid-November. The finalists will have to go through the legal check, and this is important because we are not asking for any documentation up front at the application stage. However, once you make it to the finalist list, you will have to provide some documentation in order for our legal team to verify your status as a manufacturing SME or midcap and other eligibility criteria. So altogether, the selection process and the external assessment by the DIHs will last about 7 to 8 months. For this second open call, 6 months are just preparation. The first 6 months are just preparation, and the application process on your side, the application for you, it shouldn't take longer than a morning, a couple of hours. However, altogether, we take about 6 months to evaluate and to sign the agreement. While the assessment, the external assessment and the analysis done by the external certified DIHs, 54 in total, will last about 2 months. So at the end of this process, we are expecting 30 beneficiaries, 30 manufacturing SMEs, midcaps to enter the assessment voucher program. How are we going to do that? So once you have hit the submit button, you are going to enter the evaluation process. And for us, this means that we are going to do an eligibility check based on the eligibility criteria that you will find clearly described in the guide for applicants. All the applications having passed the eligibility check will go then through the external experts evaluation process, where we are contracting independent experts to evaluate the proposals. They are going to score your proposal. We have individual criteria, and we have a threshold, which is 10 overall. And for those proposals passing this threshold of 10, they are going to enter the consensus meeting where the Application Experiment Management Board, that is members of the Change2Twin Consortium, will evaluate and score the proposals above threshold, and we'll have a list of finalists to go through the legal check and eventually to the agreement, to the signature of the FSTP or sub-grant agreement. Briefly, this is something that we are going to find in the guide for applicants as well, but just for us to be sure that you get an understanding of this, and maybe if you have questions at the end, we are looking, when it comes to the eligibility, we are looking for the status, manufacturing SME or mid-cap. This cannot be a technology provider, so the end user here is just the manufacturing SME or mid-cap. It has to be in one of the eligible country. The minimal level of digitization has to be 2. The proposals need to be written and submitted in English. All mandatory sections have to be completed. There is one very important aspect here, that the applicant has not received more than 100,000 euros from other I4MS SEA projects. And this is something that you need to be very careful about. So you will have in the application form one question about this, and you need to fill it in if you know that you have received funds from one of these projects before. And also the applicant cannot be under liquidation or under difficulty according to the Commission regulation. We are looking also at the absence of conflict of interest, that is between the applicant and any member of the Change2Twin Consortium. As mentioned, the criteria for the external evaluation are going to look at the excellence, the impact and implementation stages of the proposals, and are going to be scored from 0 to 5 with a minimum individual threshold and a total threshold of 10. There are some prioritized sectors. You can have a look at those in the guide for applicants. There are some underexploited sectors which are going to get an extra point if your business comes from one of those sectors. Regarding the evaluation criteria, when the evaluators will look at the excellence criteria, and they are going to look at your ambition, why you are applying to this open call, why do you want to implement a digital twin, and how does it connect to your business and its KPIs. The innovation character, that is in the sense that the current production processes are going to improve with the digital twin, and how are those going to improve. The level of innovation within your company and the market degree of differentiation that a digital twin could bring to your business. You'll also have to do the self-assessment of the level of digitization. This is a self-assessment. It's for you to evaluate where you consider you are at the stage of presenting the proposal. When it comes to the impact, the evaluators are going to look at the business impact, which parts of the business will benefit most and why, how essentially is the envisioned digital twin technology to core processes or products, and do you aim at an improvement of existing products or services with the introduction of a smart system, for example, or something similar. So this is something that you need to cover in the application that you are going to submit. There is also, in terms of the impact criterion, we are looking at the time critical information use, and here you need to consider some of these aspects, such as where are the envisioned advantages of near real-time insights provided by envisioned digital twins. For example, commissioning at the client can be done remotely, since all startup problems will be logged, analyzed, and cured by the SME from its own offices. Here it is very important that that you bear in mind the fact that we are looking for companies that will apply the digital twins in their primary process. So not some model they use occasionally and where timing is not important. You need to make sure you understand that if you are considering the digital twin, you see how this is integrated within your processes and the personnel is engaged and in using it and making it part of your daily work practice. When it comes to the implementation criterion, we are going to look at the team and the experience, previous experience in digitization projects, and the skills and experience of the team that will be working with the Digital Innovation Hub during the assessment. This is very important because you will be working very closely with the DIH, with the Digital Innovation Hub. And this means that you need the necessary resources, internal resources to enable this cooperation to work. So as mentioned before, the applicant has to be an end user and not a technology provider. This is very important. We are checking that at the eligibility stage and also in the evaluation, external evaluation process. So for you right now, very important is to go to the application microsite. We have a dedicated microsite for the second assessment voucher call. And before hitting that apply now button, please make sure you check our guides, our documents page, and you go through the guide for applicants and the frequently asked questions, because most of the doubts you may have now will be answered then, but you can also address them here in this session. No problem with that. Once you have hit the apply button, sorry, you will start a new application. You will get to start a new application, or if you are an eager beaver like myself, you have already submitted or started a draft application. I'm kidding, I had to submit one because I needed to test the application. However, the important thing here is that you can submit and you can go back as many times as you need to edit it before the 30th of September. So if you feel inspired one morning and you are going to present the application in a couple of hours, if you feel when the summer ends, if you feel that you missed some points, you can go back and edit it. And we'll have that version in the evaluation process. However, do not feel the urge to send more than one application, to submit more than one, because we are only going to consider one, and get selected, okay? So once you have started an application, you will have the 5 sections here mandatory to be filled in. Very interesting here and very important maybe for you is that you can add a contributor to your application form, which can be someone internally or a DIH. Please remember that you can receive support and help from a Digital Innovation Hub at this stage. However, they cannot submit the proposal for you and they are not eligible as applicants. So these sections have to be filled in by the manufacturing SME or midcap, the end user, and the information that we are looking for here is from them, not the DIH. After editing, don't forget to click save and continue at the bottom of the page. You'll have some, wherever you see the red asterisk is where you have mandatory information to fill in, okay? Please make sure you provide a correct email address for us to be able to contact you. In the digitization description of your company, you will find the complete list of 54 DIHs for you to choose one to work with. It can be in your own neck of the woods, speaking your own language. That is entirely up to you. There is no condition here. So maybe some of them are familiar to you and you'd like those to be your assessment DIH during the assessment voucher program. You'll have here you'll need here to describe briefly the digitization level you choose. So you can indicate above the digitization level you feel you are at. We have the 6 stages as described in the Acatech Industry 4.0 Maturity Index. You'll find it in the frequently asked questions, and you will get an understanding of what each stage means. Then you'll have to choose up to 5 KPIs you want to improve with the digital twin, and please save and continue once you have filled in this part here as well. As mentioned before, it is a criteria. And it is very important that you do not exceed those 100,000 euros in projects for I4MS and CAE. There is one part of the application form where we expect you to submit a simple budget, and you will have to use Marie-Curie reference costs and country correction coefficients for your personnel cost. So don't freak out. This sounds really complicated, but it really isn't. You will find these coefficients in the frequently asked questions very clearly explained. Basically, you'll have to decide if you have one full-time equivalent, one person full-time equivalent, or 2 persons, which will do as a full-time equivalent, and multiply that with the country correction coefficient that you will find in the frequently asked question. However, there are several categories of cost here. You decide how much you need for any of these categories. Please bear in mind that there is a difference between the total budget and the maximum requested amount of financing. So while the maximum amount of financing cannot exceed 10,000 euros, the total budget can be up to 14,285 euros, and that is 70%. The financing will be only up to 70% of this. The last section of the application form is the processing of personal data. You have here the GDPR clause that please go through it and make sure you read it before you submit you click on the submit button, and your application will be submitted and will enter the evaluation process. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of Change2Twin and the assessment voucher call and the application process overall. However, if at any time you have any questions, any doubts, any specifics of your own business or application, do not hesitate to send us an email or join our community in Spaces. We have the help desk there, and we constantly post any doubts or questions from everyone. But meanwhile, we are here today, and this is the best use of time we can make right now, considering that we can also count on our project partners here. So please let us know your questions. I'll go through the chat, but also by raise of hands, please address any questions or doubts you may have. I'll go through the chat for 1 second, and meanwhile, just unmute yourself and go ahead with any questions you have.
Anka, I just wanted to tell you that we had some questions already in the chat, and Marta was asking 2 questions, and I would start with the second one. Please tell us and explain if the 10,000 euros is to be spent fully just for the digital innovation hubs.
The 10,000 euros are not exclusively for the digital innovation hubs. So 10,000 euros, as I mentioned in the budget example that I showed before, are supposed to cover different categories of cost. However, it is up to the applicant to decide how much money they are going to allocate for each category. Please consider that you may have some internal resources allocated as well during the assessment process for the collaboration with the DIH, and maybe you may need some money for that. I don't know if you're planning any traveling from your business to the DIH or vice versa. Maybe you may want to cover some cost with that. So it's not entirely to be subcontracted to the DIH. However, it is up to you with the DIH to decide how much money you are going to allocate out of these 10,000 euros for the assessment that the DIH is going to provide. I hope that answers the question, Marta. If you want to follow up on it, please unmute yourself and we can further discuss it. Okay.
So we have some other questions. I don't know, Anka, if it helps you if I read it for you, because in presentation
yes, it
mode,
is very helpful. Thank you.
in presentation mode, it's difficult. So I would go back still to Marta, because she was also asking about the maximum size of the company. So I just answered that the mid-cap, according to our guide for applicants, is a company with up to 3,000 employees. Can you confirm?
Yes, exactly. So there is not, we don't have a very strict definition of the mid-cap from the Commission. However, the headcount has to be up to 3,000 employees, and considering this ceiling 3,000, this would include also slightly bigger companies. So mid-cap includes slightly bigger companies, and the SME, as you know, they cannot have more than 200 million in I'm sorry, the revenue, sorry.
Revenue.
Yes. No, I was already reading another question that the guide for applicants doesn't speak about country correction coefficient, and it is in the frequently asked question documents. So I was sorry, I got cited back by this other question.
I will just read the questions for you. Don't worry about it. Because we still have another question here, but you can answer the one from Orshoya. Orshoya is asking about the country coefficient, and I will go back to the previous one then.
So as I was saying, in the frequently asked question document, which is on the application microsite, in the document section, you will find the coefficient for each country. There is one table where you will find your country, and you can see the correction coefficient for each of them. It's not in the guide for applicants. We wanted to keep the guide for applicants more condensed and with the information that you would expect from a guide. But in the frequently asked question, we further explained some aspects, including the country coefficient.
Maybe Delia, in the meantime, you could put the link to the country coefficient document in the chat so that everybody and Perfect. Thank you. And we have a question from Orone, who was asking about the sectors. Which sectors are most interesting for Change2Twin? So, Anka, maybe you can go back to your slides where you have
yes. We are talking about one extra point for the applications coming. There are some sectors underexploited at the level of the EU. So one additional point in the overall score will go to the construction, basic metals and fabricated metal products, textiles, wearing apparel, leather, beverages, and food. You will find them in the guide for applicants as well, in the evaluation where we talk about the evaluation of the proposal. You can see exactly which are these sectors. Here, I'll paste the link for the guide as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Oh, those were all in the chat. Okay.
These are all in the chat. Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Marcela Alzin from TT Tech, and I'm also involved in the projects Change2Twin. I'm the dissemination and communication manager. And maybe before you come up with other questions, I wanted to come back to what Anka said in the beginning regarding the digitization level of the companies. Please be very careful with this, because the company, if you are a digital innovation hub, or if you are a company now which might be interested in our program, be careful about the digitalization level which is required, because really, if the company is not sufficiently digitalized at the moment, so not even level 2, then digital twin does not make much sense, right? You would need other digitalization measures to apply before you think about the digital twin. So this is maybe a warning for digital innovation hubs among you. If you actively look for companies, applicants, concentrate on those which have sufficient digitalization level and have good prospects to do maybe also the deployment. Because as you saw from Anka's presentation, we have also a second funding scheme, which is the deployment voucher, helping you to deploy the digital twin that you have already designed with the Digital Innovation Hub, and it would be pity if you would stop with the first one.
Thank you, Marcela. That was a very good reinforcement of the level of digitization, and also something that you will find in the guide for applicants. And I feel that maybe it is useful to mention here as well, is that we do not necessarily encourage startups to present an application here, because this means that you have not been in business long enough to have a manufacturing process in place and to have the digitization level that we are looking for at this stage, and to have some track record which will enable you to consider passing to a digital twin and to take this step from traditional manufacturing to digital twinning. So the businesses, the company, the manufacturing SMEs, midcaps have to be constituted at least 1 year before the application.
Maybe another point that I would like to raise to you, luckily this is already the second round of the assessment voucher for us, and in the first one, which we did last year, we have collected some experiences which are very valuable. So I would like to recommend you to read and listen also to the experience from digital innovation hubs, which were involved in the first assessment voucher last year. I put it now into the chat. This is a link to our website, and here we have the recordings from Ireland, IS for Prod, where Frank and Jamie are also today here with us. So hello to Ireland. And also the second recording from Thomas Gross from Linz Center of Mechatronics Digital Innovation Hub in Austria. These are two recordings of around 15 minutes each. And I really recommend you to listen to those experienced hubs to know what you can expect as a digital innovation hub and also as a company. And in the meantime, we got a question from Orshoya again. So Orshoya is asking, is there a moment until when the assessments with the beneficiaries must be finished? Anka.
Yes, as you saw, we have a timeline estimate, and we are trying to stick to that. However, we do consider like summer holidays or winter holidays. So the evaluation process should be done by mid-November, and then the legal check. So we expect to have the subgrant agreement signed by the end of the year. It is mandatory to sign the contracts before starting the assessment. So your estimate is pretty accurate, actually, because if we have the SGAs signed end of December, beginning of January, then we are going to take 1 up to 2 months for the assessment itself, and we should have the assessment report completed by the end of February. Yes, this is a good estimate. This depends very much on the cooperation between the beneficiary and the DIH, the time they put into in order to finish it as soon as possible. Once we have the report, the draft of the assessment report, we are going to present it to the board, the management board, and when validated and approved, we proceed to the payment of the lump sum.
Anka, and I would also like to add, because you have already touched upon it in the previous question, but I think it's really important to say it, maybe to turn it the other way around. So you remember that Anka said for your budget from those 10,000 euros, you can also plan some travels. Please think about it, use it, because when you do the assessment, now I'm talking from the perspective of the Digital Innovation Hub, it's very important that the representative of the Digital Innovation Hub can come to your company, meet you there on premise, in person, and talk to you, not just to the management, but also to the technical people and maybe also the people who will actually work with the digital twin in the end. So please do not underestimate this possibility and use it, because it's really useful to meet in person and to meet on premise and see the setting. So this is my giveaway to you. Don't forget about this, because the budget is really good and rather generous, I would say. So use it for a good purpose, so that your assessment is as good as possible, and that this assessment prepares you for the deployment of the digital twin. Because I hope that when you now apply for the assessment of your digital maturity and preparedness for a digital twin, that you do not want it just for information, but that you want to go a step further and deploy the digital twin in the end. So keep this in mind.
Yes, that's a very good point, Marcela. Indeed, it's 10,000 up to 10,000 euros for you to have an independent expert look into your business a bit and get an insight of how you're doing, where you are at, and where you could be with the digital twins. So just consider it this way, with a very simple application process where you just present us who you are, what you're doing, what you would like to do, what's your motivation to get into digital twinning. You can have this chance to get up to 10,000 euros just to get an expert view and consider the deployment of digital twinning within your business.
Anka, you know what? Actually, I remember a question from previous, and I think I would like to raise it also here in this forum, because as you remember, we have also spoken that we have a solution and technology marketplace in Change2Twin, and this marketplace is an online marketplace which is attached to our website, and here you have a list of different solutions and technologies which can be used for your digital twin. So in the recipes that you will receive from the Digital Innovation Hub, you can use these solutions. And what I wanted to tell you, really important, the solutions which are offered by the consortium partners of Change2Twin can be used free of charge. So bear this in mind. This is quite a good solution, because when you set up your digital twin, in the end, the solutions which are provided by the core partners of Change2Twin and are listed in the marketplace, you can use them free of charge. And this will help your budget, because you can use the money for other good stuff. Thank you very much, Delia. Thank you very much. This is the link to the marketplace, and just browse through it. We are working on the marketplace, so sorry, we are getting new offerings in that marketplace quite often. So browse through it and don't hesitate also to contact the providers and see if they have the right solution for you.
Yes, great, Marcela. Thank you so much for stepping up and sharing all this valuable input from your experience with the previous call. As you have heard, we have plenty of resources for everyone to try to start considering the idea of digital twinning, to discover what it means from the very beginning and up to the deployment. So we have the information, we have the resources, and we are here for you throughout the application process and the program to assist with whatever you may need in order to make this transition to digital twinning. This is our main scope and the objective of the Change2Twin project. Anytime, any questions you may have, I hope it is pretty clear where you can find us by email or through the community help desk, whatever is most convenient for you. There's no issue for you to, there's no issue you cannot address in private or through the help desk. You'll find more resources there as well. The Change2Twin website is a very valuable place to start understanding digital twins and to get updates about everything we are doing related to Change2Twin and digital twins. I don't think we have any other comments or questions up to now. And so unless you'd like to add something more, Marcela or Thor, I think we can say our goodbyes for today. We are going to have another Q&A session in September. So if between now and then you collect some thoughts that you'd like to share with us, or maybe some specifics of your business, of your application process that you'd like to address, you can we can also meet in September or anytime in between on any of our channels. Thank you very much all for your time. Thank you, Marcela. Thank you, Thor, for being with us today. Looking forward to receiving your applications. Honestly, yes, we have a very good start for now in the first 2 weeks, but yes, we are very excited to see your ideas and to get to know your businesses and how we can assist you with the digital twinning. Thank you again, everyone. Have a lovely summer.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll provide a recording for you afterwards.
Yes,
thank you, and looking forward to your applications.
All the best. Bye-bye.